Donald Trump may have fired some of America's top generals, but now they could come back to haunt him. In this breaking story, a Washington insider is encouraging Congress to use them as the ultimate weapon against the draft-dodging commander-in-chief. The alarm bells are ringing, and I have all the details for you next. And since we're talking about political warfare, there's another breaking story that I also want to share. Just now, Hakeem Jeffries went DEFCON 1 on Speaker Mike Johnson, calling him out for protecting Donald Trump while blocking the swearing in of a congresswoman-elect in the harshest terms possible. You're going to want to see this one, and then I'll share the opportunity he may have to really get to Trump via the fired generals.
Well, the Trump administration and Mike Johnson are running a pedophile protection program. That's what they've been doing. And that's the reason why they refused to swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva. For weeks now. She was elected in late September decisively. And Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva still hasn't been sworn in because she'll become the 218th vote on an up or down piece of legislation that will require the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files. And yet week after week after week have gone by, and Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva is unable to serve 800,000 plus people in the state of Arizona, all because of the pedophile protection program being run by Mike Johnson and House Republicans at the direction of their boss, Donald J. Trump.
But wait, there's more. He speaks of the cruelty being inflicted by the ongoing shutdown and the damage to Trump himself.
It's extraordinary that Donald Trump, his administration, and corrupt Republicans on Capitol Hill are voluntarily and intentionally withholding SNAP benefits from 42 million Americans who are at risk of going hungry. This includes 16 million children. This is an intentional decision not to pay full benefits because the money exists in a contingency fund to ensure that not a single American, not a single child, not a single veteran, not a single senior goes hungry. This irresponsible behavior is the reason why the overwhelming majority of the American people are very clear that under Republican control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, the country is moving in the wrong direction. Donald Trump's disapproval ratings are in the toilet.
So while Trump continues to wage war on Americans, a Washington Post contributor is floating a brilliant idea on how Democrats can leverage the military generals that have been fired to wage war on our outlaw commander-in-chief. The headline that caught my eye is from Max Boot, a military historian and analyst, and it reads, "Why is Trump politicizing the military? Ask the fired generals. Why are so many generals getting fired? Congress should summon them to find out." And here's the highlights.
There are too many scandals to count in the Trump administration, but one of the most significant isn't getting the attention it deserves. I refer to efforts by President Donald Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to politicize the armed forces and to turn them into instruments of their MAGA agenda. While using force in disproportionate and alarming ways, the administration has been purging general officers who might stand in their way. Two of the most troubling departures are the most recent. In mid-October, the Pentagon announced the sudden retirement of Admiral Alvin Holsey, head of U.S. Southern Command. The Atlantic reported that Holsey had raised concerns about the boat strikes, leading to a tense meeting with Hegseth. Also last month, CNN reported that Lieutenant General Joe McGee, the Director for Strategy, Plans, and Policy on the Joint Staff, had left after pushing back on issues ranging from Russia and Ukraine to military operations in the Caribbean. Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, a former Army officer who is now the ranking Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee, raised the alarm last week about the administration's actions. Trump, he said in a floor speech, is attempting to politicize an institution that has remained steadfastly apolitical for nearly 250 years. He is disrespecting the professionalism and sacrifice of our service members. And if we in Congress do not reject his actions, and soon, the damage could take generations to repair. Reid suggested a variety of steps Congress could take, including codifying prohibitions on political activities at military installations, passing legislation to require explanations and notifications for senior general and flag officer dismissals, and requiring congressional approval for domestic military deployments except in genuine emergencies. Those are all good ideas, but the most immediate and important thing Congress can do is simply to call Halsey, McGee, and other cashiered officers to testify under oath about their experience in the military since Trump took office. The American people deserve to hear about any concerns they might have, unless, that is, the Republican majority on Capitol Hill can't handle the truth about what the Trump administration is doing to the armed forces.
Those are just the highlights. For the full story, visit WashingtonPost.com. Donald Trump and the underqualified Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth are reshaping the military into Trump's political weapon through purges, fear, and loyalty test. As a result, 2 of our military's most respected officers were forced out after daring to question Trump's reckless orders. Trump doesn't want generals and their expertise. He wants generals who obey orders. As you saw earlier, Democrats are talking tough, but it's now time to fight tough by weaponizing the truth. Summoning those fired generals to testify wouldn't just put Trump and Hegseth on the hot seat, it would also send a clear signal to the active generals that loyalty to country comes before loyalty to a wannabe dictator. Ultimately, their resistance to Trump could be the most powerful weapon we have to stop his war on our democracy.